Bros and Sweet Talk. We have our lovely host,
Mia.
And Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And today we're going to be talking about these new CDC guidelines as it relates to COVID-19 and the mask wearing update in particular. So Sean, what's some of your thoughts as the CDC is now updated, basically stating that if you have received your vaccine, you no longer have to wear your mask in public or in some indoor setting. So how do you feel about that?
Honestly, I feel that this whole thing is a money grabber. We lost so much money in the past few years, I should say, a year and some months, that they trying to recoup some of that lost money because of the fact that the world was closed down for so long. So now there's no choice but to recoup. So now they have to uplift it because we can't continue to go living the same way we've been living for the last year and some months. So the thing about it is, if they haven't done this, we will be pretty much losing out on so much money, and they will be pretty much losing out because they have to recoup those funds from the PPP loans for the unemployment and everything else. So for them to actually uplift it, I'm not surprised. But in my personal opinion, of course, I'm pretty upset because it's too early to determine that the mask should be removed because you don't know who have it, who don't have it. It's still going to be spreaded around from left to right to up and down to whoever. And the people who are not vaccinated is the ones going to suffer the most.
Right. And I think the part that's throwing me is that we're going on the honor system. And they're saying, if you've had your vaccine, you can go without a mask. Well, it clearly, for the past year and a half, people haven't been following wearing the mask, and it's still been circulating and spreading quickly. So now we have to go on the honor system and hoping that people are going to do the right thing and not necessarily doing the right thing. And I think people think, oh, vaccine, so I'm immune. No, you're not immune. It's just like the flu shot. You still can get it. You can still spread it to people. And it's just so many different variants. You look at the uptick that was in Italy, the uptick that was in Spain and all these other countries that they had things under control a lot faster than us. And then, they were even shut down longer than us in a lot of ways. And then when they opened, they were still kind of doing things gradually, and they still had huge spikes. Look at India. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Jay? I don't feel comfortable still putting myself in certain places with a whole bunch of crowded people and trusting that they're going to do the right thing.
Right. Yeah. My biggest thing with this is this whole quote unquote this honor system that we have to, now we've been thrown into, have to abide by, that you hope the person next to you in Walmart or Target or Home Depot that doesn't have a mask, that has been vaccinated. And so pulling some of these stats now, there's out of, the entire US population, only 45% of the population has been fully vaccinated. The other 55.2% of the population has only had at least one dose, provided that it's Moderna or Pfizer. So that means that there's, 4 people standing in a Walmart, only 2 of them, have been vaccinated, and most likely all 4 are not going to have a mask on. So you just don't know who actually had it and who had. And then the piggyback on top of that, just because you got the vaccine doesn't mean you can't get COVID. It's that you have a higher than likely chance that you won't die from it, and it doesn't mean you can't spread it. Because just like if you get the flu or something like that and you start coughing, you still can spread it, to other people. So that's my big thing there, is that the mask has been helpful for the past year.
I feel naked, honestly, if I don't have it on now.
Yeah, I do too. Funny enough, I actually went so our building actually lifted the mask requirement, and I actually had to go into the building last week. So me and funny enough, the assistant administrator, so the second in command of the agency, we walked in together. So we both wanted, at least try it out. And this is the confusing part. There was so many people confused. The guards downstairs was like, oh, you have to put it on. The guards to the left, oh no, you can take it off. it's just all this confusion as to when to wear it, when not to wear it. We know the airline agency, I think they pushed theirs to September. I believe it's September 1st, where you still have to wear a mask. I'm not sure the exact date, but it's around that time frame. So it's just so much confusion as to when to wear it, when not to wear it. We know private establishments, they can still have whatever rules they decide to have. So I think that's the big part, is these confusion around it. And CDC is just saying, hey, a blanket statement, hey, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, is that I believe that this vaccine that most people are getting is going to be basically just like the flu shot. You're going to be getting it every year. So is the thing that I'm confused about is they're giving you the vaccine, say, okay, well, this should protect you from, giving you less of a
likelihood of dying.
Chance of dying or whatever the case is, right? But now they're adding that you got to take this booster shot every year, which is the part that I'm not understanding. If you got the both doses of the vaccine, why do you have to take the booster shot every year? You didn't have to do that. Shot. It's just like a flu shot. But you didn't have to take that flu shot, like the vaccine for the flu shot when you first got it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Well, there's a difference. This is a pandemic. This is something that is unknown. It hasn't happened in over 100 years. I think the last pandemic we had was in 1918, 1920. I mean, you look at when they vaccinated for measles, or what are some other, the plague, or what are some other pandemics? Right. So it's just like those sort of things where, okay, those I think you were only vaccinated once for, but this one, it's an unknown, and the problem is it's mutating into different variants. Like the one that's in India right now is not what we're seeing worldwide, and I think there was one in Africa too that wasn't over here. So you have to get a booster shot, because they're going to have to basically be continuing trying to update your system to make sure that you can handle if you do get sick, like the flu.
And I think Sean, to that point, is I think it was 1920 or 1918, whatever year it was. I forgot the name.
I think it was 1918. That was the Spanish flu, right?
We have more technology now that's picking up on all this stuff. It probably was happening back then too. They just didn't know. They didn't have that type of technology to keep up with, oh, you may need a booster shot now because it's mutating into something else. And that's an assumption, that's not a scientific fact, but I'm sure that had something to do with it, that our technology 100 years later is showing us that, oh, throw this in there too, and this will help you guys along the way.
Yeah, but my biggest frustration about it is that my job, I think they uplift the mask. Maybe when did it start? Like 2 weeks ago?
I think it was all DOD.
It was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
like 2 weeks ago. And the funny thing about it is to me, I just feel disgusted about the whole thing, just because of the fact that people are coughing, sneezing, like with no mask on, and all that the germs are going back into the office. Like, I mean, it's just more. I just feel safe still wearing my mask. I might be wearing a mask for the rest of my life, to be honest, because it don't feel the same. I feel more protected with the mask than without the mask, even though I would love to just live life normal. But the thing is, it feels so disgusting now that all the germs and everything is back in the population, and it's just feel dirty now.
Yeah, well, look at they actually had some sort of study or analysis that was done on the flu this year, that it was down by like 50 or 60%. And the reason why it's down is because people had to have a mask on, right?
Exactly.
So, and you look at even some of the other germs and stuff. I mean, people are nasty. They trifling. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100. People are trifling. But yeah, that's why I even said, I think I'm going to be keeping mine on for at least through the end of this year, if not into part of next year, because you just never know. And you can't go on the honor system, because we already know that people are full of shit. So,
and I mean, through my timeline on social media, no one is actually wearing masks at all. I'm talking about everybody is out partying, cookouts, everything with no mask. I mean, they just feel so comfortable,
right?
So comfortable, like the world is supposed to be open, like there's still no pandemic is going on. But as we go on, I mean, this is just going to get worse because it's starting to become the first summer that's coming out, with the uplift of the mask thing. So I think it's going to be a hard last 6 months of the year, just because of the fact that this is a new thing and everybody trying to adjust to one another and just live differently from the past, like I said, year and some months. So.
Well, I mean, I think people are probably tired, but that doesn't mean because you're tired, you let up. I'm sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I haven't been, you guys know that I've been, different places, this year, throughout. And of course, I still make sure, I wear my mask and, have all, these protection measures, washing my hands, hand sanitizer, and so on. With this weekend, I was up in New York, for example, for an event. And it because of the rain, because of the weather, it moved from outside, to inside. And I swear to you, I think one person had a mask on. I think, and then plus me. And it like to Sean's point, I'm just looking around. I'm like, oh hell no. I ended up just going to go sit, on the porch talking to one or two guys that was just sitting out there, just because still it's crazy, mentally how we adapt to things in life. But mentally, my brain was like, oh yeah, no, I can't do this. Not around all these people laughing and Tashawn's one coughing and so on. And you're the only one with a mask on. And now it's so political, whether you got a mask on or don't have a mask on. I think that's a huge part of it as well.
Right.
Still, if you still have that any sense of protection for yourself and for your own family, it's an awkward feeling being in a room with a bunch of people that don't have a mask on.
Yeah,
and that's true, Jay, because like the fact is that kids, they can't get these vaccines unless you're older than 12 and up. So the thing is, they still spreading, and you got to protect your family, especially if you have kids under 12. So the thing is, these kids can still catch it. And the thing about that also is the school is going to open this fall. So just imagine how many germs is going to pass through that school system. With kids are not the cleanest human beings on earth.
They sneeze, touch each other, cough. Rub their hands through people's hair. Little kids are nasty. They don't know. So I don't know how that works out.
So just imagine when schools start opening and none of these kids are vaccinated. I think it's just gonna be passed along. It's just gonna be a big circle of them germs gonna keep circulating from place to place to place to place.
It's gonna be a clusterfuck.
Exactly.
So Sean, do you think it's a good time now, or when would you? I guess, do you think it's a good time to start sending kids back to school? If not, when you think it's a good time to start sending them back to school?
I mean, I believe it's a good time because the kids are falling behind so much that they actually need someone to teach them in a regular school form. But as far as them being protected, that's what I'm scared about, unless they have some type of measurement or like some type of thing to mitigate the issue of the COVID-19 in the school system. So if they don't fix these measures and kids are bringing that stuff back home, that's the part that I'm nervous about. But as far as them going back to school, of course, they need to go back to school and they need to catch up. Because I think someone said, either the president or somebody said that the kids are failing so behind, or they so behind in learning right now that, they might be like a grade back. Mm-hmm. So, I definitely believe they need to go back to school, but something got to give to. Go ahead, man.
There needs to be some measures put into place to mitigate it, which I don't think, from what I'm hearing you're saying, it sounds like your daughter's school, they haven't put any measures into place. So you're a little bit nervous with that?
So my daughters go to private school. They put measures in their school system. They put all types of things to protect them. But like I said, who knows if it's going to be protected through the whole school system for all the kids, because they're still kids. They still going to sneeze, cough, not wash your hands, it's still the germs and everything else is still going to be spreading. So that's the only point that I'm kind of concerned about.
What do you guys think as far as how it can be mitigated? What are some measures that we think that can be done so the kids can go back to school, they're able to learn, but they are safe?
it's going to be a trial and error. I mean, you're going to have to see how the first semester go of school and make sure that your kids are still feeling 100% healthy and nothing is going wrong with them.
I know, but I mean, I get what you're saying, but there should be some measurements put into place, right? Because that's what a lot of parents are worried about. So I think one of the measures that can be put in place is the kids have to continue to wear the mask in school.
Right. Because what's one kid gets, you know, and somebody will, I mean, unfortunately, it's be unfortunate, but some kid will get COVID-19, then that whole class is shut down. And if that kid, you know, bounced around from, like, say, gym to, you know, English, or, you know, however the school is set up, everybody's shut down because they're gonna follow whoever that kid was in contact, and then everybody's back to quarantine for like 2 weeks. So that's like a scary thing that, you know, that happens. And God forbid one of the teachers get it. Now, you know, the whole school is pretty much shut down. So
right.
Well, I mean, that's the scary part, because I mean, you have these adults, they're the ones that are going butt wild out here right now and partying with no mask on, drinking, you know, having no care in the world, like nothing is wrong. I think I'm more fearful of the adults than the kids, to be honest.
I think it's going to disrupt their learning a little, because it's going to happen. Well, I mean, we know that hands down. Somebody's, whether it's my child's school, Sean's, you know, children's school, you know, anywhere else, somebody's gonna get COVID-19 in a school, and so the kids are back in school for 1 month. Somebody in PE gets COVID-19 because it's gonna happen, and everybody's going back. Not everybody, but that particular school, or a huge group or a huge number of kids and teachers in that school are back to quarantine then. So now all those kids that were happy going back to school, now they're back behind a computer, back at home for 2 weeks. Then they go back into the building. God forbid somebody else gets COVID-19 2 months later. They're back to quarantine again, back at home. I think that's what we're going to see, unfortunately, this year. Is this back and forth of in-person quarantine, back and forth, back and forth.
And the thing about it is, I'm not even going to say that the kids are going to be passing it. I think the adults is going to be passing it to the kids, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we at now. I mean, you said all over your Facebook, people hugging and partying like there's no pandemic going on in the world. It definitely is going to be a problem, I think, more so with adults than it is with children.
And that's the sad situation about it, because these kids need to go back to school. And just to say that if the teachers or these adults that's in the school system is passing it to kids, that's going to just be a terrible situation for them, because those are the ones that need to be taught and learned the most.
And then you have these adults that are what do you guys think about the anti-vaxxers? Oh, this is a government, what is it? The
conspiracy?
The mark of the beast. It's the mark of the beast, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, just stupid.
It's not stupid, because I'm one of them. I didn't take the vaccine, and I'm not planning to get it. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Let's back it up. Why? You just sat here and said it's going to be a problem with adults. Why aren't you going to get the vaccine?
Because I pretty much do not go outside. I stay in my bubble. I protect myself. I protect my family. And I just don't want that mess. I would rather to trust my immune system than someone else putting something else in my immune system to test it. So, I mean, I pretty much take care of myself. I eat right. I exercise. I'm putting myself 100% bet on myself than something else that I have no clue what's in there. And as an adult, we have. I mean,
don't you drink alcohol? Don't you drink alcohol?
It doesn't matter if I drink alcohol.
Yes, you do. I mean, I'm trying to understand. You drink alcohol, right?
Yeah.
You drink alcohol.
I'm a social drinker. Yes.
Okay, so
I was in Sean's back in January, because I was part of the not 1A but 1B because of my job. And so in January, I was whoa, I got to take it now. I had that similar mindset, not knowing whether I was going to take it or not. And my job it wasn't making us take it, but it was, we were on the list. And so, I rationalized it with myself. I just put it in like 2 buckets. I was like, one, there's millions of people this is just my personal opinion. There were millions of people that wanted to get the vaccine, that they didn't have access to it like I did. And then 2, I was like, well, I felt like I was like, well, the government, they're not trying to kill us all. They're not trying to, they're not trying to do that. And is it rushed? I would in a sense. However, COVID is just not brand new. It's not like it's something that just popped up and they have no clue what it is. So I was like, okay, so these doctors and stuff like that, they put this vaccine together. They put it through tests. They said, hey, majority of the people that went through the test, it worked for them. So let's go ahead and roll it out to the public. So I eventually said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and go with it and see, what happens. But I started thinking about a lot of other stuff, and it's just the goofy side of me. I was like, honestly, I don't know what's in Tylenol. I don't know what's in alcohol. I don't know what they put in my milk. I don't know what's in my steak. I don't know what's in my cereal. You know what I mean? Yeah, we hope that the USDA and Department of Agriculture and stuff like that looks at everything that we consume. But I honestly don't know. I don't know what's going through the air on the airplane. So that's when I started putting it like that. And I was like, well, here's these group of doctors that, yes, it's about money. I believe a big part of it. Yeah, Pfizer and them, they're getting paid for this, but no doubt. They get paid for Viagra. So, we don't know what's in Viagra. But I'm sure Sean and I both one day we'll take it to keep things going. Or maybe not, maybe not. We're going to try to take something, though, because if we're going to want to keep our wives around or whatever. And I'm not going to know what's in that. So, but all I'm going to know is one track mind is that I need my things to work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take something. And so and that was just the goofy side of me thinking, well, Jay, you know what? I'll be the first one of the first in my family to try it out. I feel like I'm pretty healthy, just like Sean, I feel like I'm pretty healthy. And so if anything was happening to me, at least my family would see that, hey, well, damn, if he took it and he got sick, they can make a better, decision as well. But that's just all that to say, that's kind of how I rationalize that. I don't know what's in this drink that I'm drinking, except for what they put on the back of here. I don't, how do I know that to be true? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, for me,
that not to make a person that says, hey, I'm not going to take it, because I know plenty of people like that, or the ones that we are taking it and trying it, that anybody's one better than the other. But that's just kind of how I arrived at that decision. I legit don't know what's in this honey bun that I'm eating right now. It just tastes good.
Yeah. Well, for me, the last time we had a conversation is when we did the MS podcast. And I said, I'm not going to take it until my doctor tells me I'm good, take it. And she told me on the 11th of May, when I had my annual appointment with her, she said, you're good to take it, only take Pfizer and only take Moderna. Don't take the, yeah. And so I took it, and my cousin, Tamara, the one that was pregnant that we did the podcast with, she was able to get her first shot being pregnant. And so I look at it as I'm already high risk because of my underlying condition, and I don't want to end up getting sick and sicker than I need to be by not taking the vaccine. So I went ahead and I took it, and I had no side effects. The only thing I had was a sore arm, but it's made me feel better in that, I know that I'm protected against COVID once I get my second one, which is Friday. And I don't have to necessarily worry about the people like you, Sean, who are saying, I don't need it.
But
Because you could get it.
I never said I don't need it.
But to Sean's point,
I just believe in myself.
I
got you. But for people like you who saying you're not going to take it, for people like me that has an underlying condition, that could be dangerous for me. So that's why I decided I need to protect myself, and whatever measurement I need to do in order to feel safe, which was get the shot. For people, unfortunately, Sean, I'm gonna call you out, like you, who are saying, oh, I don't need it, I believe in my own immune system.
But I will say that, like any medicine, I'm pretty sure, maybe not 10 years, not 20 years, but we're going to be 60 some years old, maybe almost 70, and we're going to be up watching TV, and that commercial is going to come on. Have you or one of your loved ones ever taken Moderna vaccine? Call us now. There's a class action suit like any other medicine that pops up, and Sean's going to be like, y'all want to go back on the record? I told you. Or anybody. I'm just making light of it, but you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
to me, it's with anything that's out here. And people have the right life
It's true.
to say, hey, I'm not taking it, or I'm not taking it right now. You know, I'll wait for some more statistics.
Yeah, it's just our personal opinion of how you feel right now.
I was like, nah, I ain't taking it. I survived this whole year. I don't need it. I feel like I'm doing all the protection measures, you know what I mean, to not take it. And while, yeah, I want to make sure the people around me are safe as well, you know, and like you, that I don't want to pass this thing on, God forbid I get it. I don't know that it is to be fact. I made a decision to say, you know what, never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But I saw exactly the way myself. And, you know,
Yeah, and I kind of felt that way too. But my neurologist gave me reassurance that was the best thing for my care, was to ensure that I got it.
And that's
especially with the
best for each individual, you know, family or, you know, person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Sean, do you think at any time you will take it down the road, or you're just absolutely, I'm not taking it?
I mean, like I said, it's a day by day thing. I mean, as far as right now, I'm not taking it for sure. But who knows, 6 months down the line or whenever, I might decide to take it. But I just believe in myself that, you know, you protect yourself just as much as the next person will, and be true to yourself for who you are. I mean, I understand that people wants to take it to you know, to protect one another and things like that, but we still gonna have 50% of the population who not, like you said, the honor system, who's not gonna be true to themselves. So what difference does it make if, you know, we have 100% of this world who's gonna take it, and then 50% is lying? That 50% of that 100% is lying to everyone. It's still not gonna make the world safe.
You know, somebody out here is selling vaccination cards right now.
Yeah, it's all types of stuff people are doing.
A card? Oh, that's easy. I can print those off. 8 on 1 sheet.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I just look at it as, you protect yourself and your family as much as you can. I mean, like I said, you stay in your little bubble. You believe in yourself. You stay on your strict diet. Take your vitamins, whatever you need to take to make sure you build your immune system strong.
But you can do all that and still be sick, like me. You can take care of yourself and do all those things like you're saying, and you still have an underlying condition like MS, like I have, or you know, lupus, or, you know, that's big in our community. Diabetes is big in our community. Heart disease is big in our community. And when I say our, I mean as in Black people. So you can have those underlying conditions and think that you're good, but you end up with COVID, and then you end up dying because you didn't realize that you had these different things that were wrong with you. Or you could pass it to your mother-in-law, her not realizing that she has some sort of underlying condition, and then she could die. So I get what you're saying, Sean, but I think that it is a little bit selfish.
Like I said, it's all about your perspective, your choice, your option. I mean, like I said, it's not a guarantee of that thing is going to protect everyone 100%, like they say. I mean, we don't know any of that stuff. All you're doing is just going by what they're telling you guys.
Yeah, but it's nothing in life is 100%. But how would you feel if you got it and you ended up spreading it to one of your loved ones? Because you can have it and not have symptoms, but you're sick, and then you end up spreading it to one of your loved ones, and then they end up getting sick and dying. How would you feel?
Well, right before you answer that, Sean, I will say, just because if he gets the shot tomorrow, doesn't mean he can't pass it on to those same people. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, most of my family members already took the vaccine, so I'm not worried about them. So it's not a selfish thing on my part. If anything, I'm the one that's pretty much got to protect myself from them. So right. like Jay said, if they get the shot, or whoever, you guys can still be asymptomatic and pass it on to me. Right. So it doesn't matter if you vaccinated or not. You guys are being selfish and passing the mess on me if you're not taking care of yourself.
Right.
But like I said, I take care of myself, but I still have an underlying condition which it's out of my control.
Right. But no, I'm just talking about in general. I'm talking about in general, not saying you guys like you two, but I'm just saying that the world, since the world is back open again, I'm quite sure the people who took the vaccine is going to still pass it on to people. Like I said, and the ones who are not vaccinated is going to suffer the most.
Right.
And it's not because it's a selfish act. It's just because we have different beliefs, and you believe in yourself of your immune system, and you put your faith in the Lord to protect you and your loved ones.
Okay.
So that's just how I look at it.
I got you.
It don't have to be a selfish act because I don't want to take something that I don't know what's in there or put my body through harm's way just because it's the thing that everyone's saying. I even went to got my physical 3 weeks ago, and the nurse, I told her I wasn't getting. She was surprised, like she was like I did something wrong to her. Like, I said no, I'm not gonna get it. She said, what? You're not gonna get it? And she was upset at me, like I did something wrong to her. But like I said, it's just your personal opinion of how you feel. It's not a selfish act, or it's not that you don't want to protect anybody or whatever, people might say. It's just your belief on how you want to protect yourself. That's all it is.
I'll say, I guess in closing now, is that so much of this is up in the air. In my honest opinion, I feel like none of us have all the answers. None of us know exactly where we're going to land in the next year, 5 years, or 10. Having been through this or still going through it. I mean, at this rate. And so, I will agree with Sean. In my opinion, there's no selfish way or right way or wrong way to handle and deal with this. I feel like there's safe ways, to definitely try to go through and maneuver through this pandemic that we're still in right now. But people have their choices, their rights, their beliefs, and all that sort of stuff. So, we live in a society where you have those rights and those choices, to make. But that would be my closing remark. Any other closing remark?
For me, I would just say you still have to protect yourself. The vaccine is not a guarantee for you that you won't catch COVID. You still can catch COVID, and you should still take the measures that you need to take to protect. Can't talk, tongue-tied. You still should take measures to protect your family. And that includes continuing to wear a mask, continuing to social distance until the numbers are way down. So,
in closing remarks, from my perspective is, I just believe that it's your own personal choice. I give props to everyone who's pretty much trying to make this society a better place to live in and protect one another. But again, just on my perspective is, if you protect yourself and your loved ones, still social distance, wear your mask, and all your safety measurements to do to protect your loved ones, then I suggest you pretty much go with your personal opinion. But like I said, this is new to all of us. So it's going to be different perspectives and opinions on how people carry on things. So just like I said, the last thing is just pretty much just do what's best for you, but make sure you still continue to protect your loved ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that,
thank you for joining us this hour, and we will be back soon with new content.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching, Bros and Street Talk.
Stay safe.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.